understand one of the challenges of popHealth is you find data in a variety of formats and you have to translate it into your own format. And I wonder, what are the differences in these formats and how do you translate?
Sure. So popHealth actually has two input formats. One of them is the ASTM CCR, Continuity of Care Record. The other is the HITSB C32, which is based on the Continuity of Care document, another standard from HL7.
I should mention these things record pretty much the same information. The CCD was based on the CCR, right?
That is correct. And so these are both XML formats. We parse them both with some pretty standard vanilla XML technology. And they, as you mentioned, have the same underlying patient data model. So while the XML elements and attributes are slightly different, the underlying model of information is the same. So you have the basic notion of a patient that has medications, has encounters with a physician, lab results, vital signs, and so on and so forth. So we have a normalized model in the back end of popHealth that we translate these two XML formats back to.
I suppose all the measures that you're measuring were chosen because they're in those documents.
Well, that's an interesting question. So that was one of the sort of proof of concepts that was put forward with popHealth, is that you have these patient summary documents. And one of the open questions was, are these patient summary documents sufficient to be able to run some of these quality measures upon? Because we didn't really know going into the effort, was there going to be enough information in some of these patient summaries to actually satisfy some of the questions asked by these quality measures? And what we found, at least for the first 44 that we've tackled, is that yes, there is enough information to be able to satisfy the reports that we need.
Now, popHealth is open source.
That is correct.
And you put it under Apache license. Can you explain what your goals are with this?
Right. We chose Apache because it's a commercially friendly license. So our goal here is to try to accelerate adoption in the health IT community. So we felt with an Apache license, that would be the best way to do so. So commercial EHR vendors that have proprietary products that may be closed source can still take popHealth. They can incorporate it with their closed source product, and they can redistribute it as long as they provide attribution, and so that they can feel comfortable in bringing that in. People that may not be familiar with working with open source right off the bat, they can take this software in and use it to provide quality measures right off the bat. It's also important being open source in that this is a reference that other organizations can use. So they may not necessarily want to take the popHealth software, but they can at least see how we've implemented the 44 quality measures that we've done in this first round, so that they may do a re-implementation in a language of their choice or in the environment of their choice, but they at least have a reference and a test set of data that they can work from.
And what language is this in?
Right now, popHealth is written as a Ruby on Rails web application, and it is backed by MongoDB. And the quality measures are actually written using MapReduce, the MapReduce algorithm, and the MapReduce jobs are actually written in JavaScript. And that actually is fairly interesting. I think typically when you think of an application like popHealth, it's a reporting application. And so that probably conjures up images of SQL, large SQL statements, or doing large stored procedures or something like that. By shifting it to a database like MongoDB and being able to write our MapReduce jobs in JavaScript, it's actually really, at least from my point of view, it's a lot more programmer friendly, where we can write JavaScript. To me, it flows a lot more easily than writing some really complex SQL queries to try to generate some of these reports.